Xin chào everybody, welcome back. You're watching Vietnam Steve in Exile, and today I'm down under in Australia. Just out at 5 a.m. doing the 5 kilometres and thought I'd bring you along, show you a little bit of the waterfront here and tell you what I'm doing for the next month or so. It's about 10 or 12 degrees, so it's quite cool. And I'm just going to put the AirPods in and listen to a couple of YouTube things. And then I'll come back and tell you how I'm going, what's on my mind today. So I've got a few things happening this week that are important, and I'll let you know about those. One is sort of just getting settled back into a routine here, and then the other is the eldest daughter is learning to drive, and so we've got the initial driving lessons happening, followed by instructor Vietnam Steve. 3 pelicans down here enjoying the morning. And I paused a little bit before I started this vart because I realised when I kicked it off at 5 it was quite dark. So let's get into it. So today we've got the driving instructor coming to take the daughter for the first driving lesson. I've had her out for about 5 hours down around the local large park near here, and that doesn't have many people down there, and there's a few roads, so managed to tootle around there. She's getting a bit of confidence, but you know, driving a new car for the first time at 16 is a bit tricky. Here in Australia, the kids have to do, they can start learning a year before they're able to drive. So start learning at 16, get your license at 17. They have to have a logbook that demonstrates they've had 100 hours of supervised driving with yours truly, or a paid driving instructor. So I've paid for that to get the first 4 or 5 lessons underway, so she learns the correct way rather than the Steve way. And every time you're with a driving instructor, you get credit for 3 hours for every hour. So they're 3 times better than me, or I'm a third as good as them. So that's first up this morning at 9. I'm going to take her for a spin at 8, so she's in the mood. And doesn't usually like to get up till 10 or 11 on the weekends, so let's see how we go. The other thing I'm doing is my son's down here running 10 kilometres, so he's called me up and said, where are you walking? I'll come down and run 10 kilometres. But we're highly unlikely to run into him. He's taken off and gone. I'll see him in an hour. And then got a few things to do around the house. So one of the tricks of maintaining 2 lifestyles is that you end up with maintenance doubled. And so got a water pump on a water tank here that has never been serviced and never been cleaned, and after 6 years it died. So I've had to get a new water pump yesterday, install that, handyman Steve, and be able to get out and water the garden using the free rainwater later this morning. I cooked dinner last night, which shocked the little Viettes, and surprisingly they thought the food was quite good. So that was a surprise. One of my mother's recipes. So 20 or 30 years ago when I got divorced. She thought I didn't know how to boil an egg, and so she made 30 written. Well, first of all, she started to go to a college. She was old. She went to a college to learn about word processing. He's got a runner going past. I think he's tamping down the concrete. Stomp, stomp, stomp. She went to TAFE to learn about word processing, and of course the thing she did was put her menus into writing, which is quite handy now, 35 years later. We see what people were eating 35 years ago. Some of the recipes are hilarious, but some of them are quite good. So I cooked one of her recipes last night. It's a cabbage, beef, celery, beans type dish in a fry pan, and came out quite good. So tonight, thumbing through that recipe book, the eldest daughter has found a lemon meringue pie, so she's going to try and crank that one off. And instead of lemon, we're going to use lime, because I've got a lime tree with hundreds of limes on it. This is normally a swimming pool that's about a little over a metre deep. Looks like they've got it under construction, so basically they've, I think it's got a concrete bottom with sand on top, so they've scraped up all the sand. Maybe they're going to replace it, and then it has a pump system that refreshes the water on a weekly basis. Not as many people down here as I thought would be down here today. It's usually quite busy, but everywhere in the world's got this. I guess there's three sexes. There's male, female, and cyclists. They seem to come from another planet. They always seem to be short men with really aggressive short fuses. I don't know why that is. They definitely like to get out in the morning, get away from their other half, and prove that they're a cyclist. Well, I did say how few people were down here, and I've just been overrun by walkers. So I've let them go by, and now I'll tootle along behind them. So that's it today. Driving lessons in the morning. Probably hit the shop for some food supplies after the driving lesson. Along with the lemon meringue pie, I think we're having some sort of honey soy salmon, so we've got to go buy the salmon, of course. And thanks for all of you that liked and subscribed my Vietnam budget VART. It was quite popular. I think I might do one on the cost of living here for a month, because it's different. In Vietnam, I'm running at about $1,100 US for the month, and that's for man, woman, and 2 kids. So we live kind of locally, and we've got family there that we eat a lot at their place. We don't have a lot of exorbitant entertaining. We're running a family life there. But here in Australia, we run the same life, but things just seem to cost more. The fuel cost is double. There's a bit of raping and pillaging going on by the government for fuel here. So, in Australian dollars, it's $1.20 a litre in Vietnam, but here it's about $2. All right, I'll come back to you in a minute when I get down the path a little bit here. And let's see, we've done 4.82 kilometres. So that's one of my weekends filled up. It's lady just got chased by a dog up here. Well, I should say chased by a chain, because you can't have a dog that's not on a chain in Australia. So if you're chased by a dog, you're also chased by a chain. So today, driving lessons, practice run with Steve, official run with the official driver, off to the local supermarket, probably to buy some salmon for dinner, and then get out in the garden and straighten things up. Don't think there'll be any mowing or cutting today. It'll be just watering and trimming. Also got some more plants to stick out the front of my house. I tried to get some cuttings from a neighbourhood tree when I was walking around. Now those cuttings haven't struck, so I've had to go out and buy a tree, and putting one up each side of the driveway. Anyway, now that I'm back down under, let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. Got about a month here to smash out varts, and want them to be entertaining. So what's interesting new about being down under? That's the guy that's pounding down the concrete. Good Lord, they really stomp the ground. It's a contrast. I prefer it up in Vietnam, but such is life. And got the flexibility to work anywhere. Getting overtaken. Well, there's nobody behind me now, but I just got overtaken by 3 people. All right, I'll come back to you in a minute, wrap this one up, and let you know the lay of the land for the next month. So the coming month, I'm really just looking forward to getting out of winter and getting into summer. It's starting to warm up here now, but I do miss the summer. I forgot to tell you I had a filling in my tooth yesterday, and that could be interesting because I've got some health insurance here that sort of partially covers it, but the total cost of the filling, which took about 40 minutes, an old filling fell out, so they had to replace it back in. It was a filling from 2019, so it only lasted 6 years. Or was it 2017? 6 or 8 years anyway, it fell out. The total cost was 210 Australian dollars, so figure that one out for yourself. And my out of pockets was about $60. So that's the cost of getting a filling in Australia. I also went to the doctor. Here in Australia, when you get medication, you have to go to the doctor to get a note from the doctor to say, please give Steve the usual medication that he has to have for the rest of his life. And you've got to go back to the doctor every 6 months. They can only give you 6 months worth of tablets. So I did go to the doctor, and the cost of the doctor there was about $120 for a 15-minute consultation. And the government healthcare here paid half of that. So I got some back, and I ended up being about 40 or 60 out of pocket. So that's the cost of going to a doctor in Australia. Those two costs together would probably be my annual healthcare cost in Vietnam. So that was interesting, but needless to say, we have the necessary prescriptions. And of course, when I'm in Vietnam, I buy the medication without prescription. It's about a third of the price. Usually it's coming from Germany or somewhere. And of course, you save that $60 of having to get a note from the doctor to say, here's the medication that this man has to have for the rest of his life. Logically, I think you need one note for life, but apparently not. Part of that whole process was to get the results of a blood test that I had. So being an old man, I have a blood test regularly, and all my blood work was good. My heart rate was perfect. But what the blood test lady said, and there was no cost for that, that's fully covered by the government health arrangements in Australia, was that if I have this particular type of test that is encouraged for men to have every year, but if I have it more than once in 2 years, I'm going to have to pay for that in future, which would be another $65. So while they maintain it's essential to have the test every year, the government's only going to fund it once every 2 years. So little by little, I'm keeping Australia afloat by paying all these government charges. That's about it. I won't wax on for too long. Next time I'm out, I'll bring the Osmo Pocket 3 and give you some better clarity. Today I'm just on the iPhone 16. Seems to work okay if I can get the sound about right. And today we don't have, got a bit of traffic here, but we don't have too much wind. Stay frosty, and I'll see you in the next one.